Hello, in this video, we will be discussing about Google Tag Manager API, and we'll also be discussing about how is it different from the normal UI that is being provided by Google for managing the tags, various workspaces, and the containers. So, in short, Google Tag Manager API allows you to create scripts that handle accounts, containers, and management operations, and that you do it using a script that is programmatically. That means if we talk about the major difference between this and Google Tag Manager is that in this platform, Google Tag Manager, you'll have to do everything using the UI. Like if you have to create a tag, then you'll have to create a new tag here, add a new tag. And if you'll have to create a trigger, then the following steps will be done. But if you have to create a tag or a workspace using the GTM API, then you will be writing some piece of code for the same. You will be passing on a program that will run in the background and that will create anything that you desire onto the Google Tag Manager actually. So how do we need it actually? Like why do we need it? So basically everything comes down to a trade-off between time used or time invested on designing the stuff and the time invested on actually implementing the things. So if we take an example that if we'll have to create 1,000 containers, then we'll have to go to the Google Tag Manager and do it every now and then. We'll have to add 1,000 containers if we just go back here, and we'll have to add them one by one. But if we have to create 1,000 containers, then API will be very suitable for us, because once we have written the code for the same, we'll just have to execute it and the 1,000 containers will be created for the purpose. So that is how API is very powerful and that can really help us, but it definitely demands some technical expertise and also the writing of code. So definitely we can write code against it, and any function can be any custom function can be built here, and also any task can be accomplished. So if we basically divide the GTM API, then it will be in these two parts. It will be client libraries and authorization. So for authorization, we are using OAuth, and for the client libraries, there can be various client libraries, various JavaScript, Python, visualization libraries. Here you can see these are labeled here. Google API for clients, Java samples, PHP samples. All these are an examples of API libraries that are there for the client. And also, if we talk about that how we are actually interacting with the GTM API, then we are doing it through the various methods and resource objects. So there are a bunch of methods that are being provided us by the GTM API. So supposingly, if we want to create a built-in variable, then we have a built-in create function for the same. So using this function, we'll definitely have to make an API call. And if that API call is successful, then we will be returned with a resource object. Now that resource object will contain all the information regarding that. Okay, supposedly we wanted to create a built-in variable, so it will contain a success message that okay, the variable has been created. It will also contain its unique path, and likewise other important information. So basically communication between the user and the GTM API is through the resource object, and it is only returned when there are successful API calls, and it gets only returned when there are successful API calls. And to communicating with the API, actually we'll definitely be using methods, but something to note here is while using methods, there are certain parameters as well that needs to be passed. If you see this section, there is a required parent parameter. And also if I execute before like if I paste something here, and okay, this is showing this is invalid. So I'll just show you how we'll actually do it. And if I execute it, then I'll be returned with a resource object. And if this particular function requires certain other parameters, then I'll have to pass that as well. So first things first, if I actually want to now in my Gmail ID, there can be a lot of accounts. So using this GTM API, I want to get the list of those uh, accounts that I have. So what I'll be doing, I'll be just hit this execute. Now there is no required parameter here. So I'll just simply hit execute here. And there's a pop-up in front of me, and I'll just select. I'll just, I think I've selected the wrong account. 1 minute. I'll execute it again. You might not be seeing the account window. Okay, now I have selected the correct account, and okay, I'll just refresh it. Okay, yeah. So now you'll see the account that I selected, the email ID that I selected has these array of accounts. Now there is one account, its path is this, and there is another account, its path is this. My primary account that I use for demo is this account, so I'll be using this. So you can see that we are able to successfully list all the accounts that are there that are associated to a particular Gmail ID. So I have copied this account path. So inside account, if we go, then the direct thing that we can see is containers. So you expand containers, and we'll try to list all the containers inside a particular account. How we are going to do that? First of all, it asks us for a parent parameter. Now I have copied the account path. You can do it too and paste it here. Now this is one of the required parameter. If I do not send this, then it won't run. Now after this, I'll execute. Again, I'll be selecting the email here. And after selecting the email, my you'll see this scroll is running here. And after this gets successfully loaded, I have all the container lists. So basically, there's an array of containers that is returned here. And 1, 2. I have 2 containers in this particular account. And my primary container that I use is DataVinci site for demo purposes. And if I even go beyond, then after containers, what do we see when we come to our Google Tag Manager? We see workspaces. So we can even list down all the workspaces here. So if I go to workspace and if I try to list one, so this API Explorer is very helpful when it comes to exploring the things. So now for workspaces, we need a container path. I skipped that, so I'll have to do it again. I'll have to list the containers once again. You will have to make sure that you always copy the part that is specified. So I'll paste the account again, and then I'll execute this container query. So once I'll do that, then all the container list will be directed to me once again, and I'll select the path of the desired container that is being listed here. So I have selected this path, and in this particular container, we are going to create a workspace where all the creations, all the deletions and updations will be done. So again, inside the workspace heading, you select list option, and there in the parent parameter, you'll have to paste the path for the. After that, you will hit execute here, and then again you'll have to select an account with the pop-up that will be opened in front of you. And after selecting that, the workspaces that will be present in that particular container will be listed to you. Now in this particular container, I have 2 workspaces. Number 1 is with the name of demo workspace, and number 2 is default workspace. I have created this. So what we can do is we can copy the path of a particular workspace that we actually want to test. So supposingly, if I want to get all the tags that are present in a default workspace, so I'll be just simply copying the path of the workspace as mentioned previously. I'll be just copying this. Now this is a unique identifier when we want to identify certain things in Google Tag Manager. So I have copied the path of a workspace. Now going beyond, I want to list down all the tags that are present inside a workspace. So to do this, it's very simple. First, we'll have to paste the workspace path in the request parameter. And after that, we will be executing the same. We'll execute that thing. What's going to happen is we'll get all the tags that are listed here in the in that particular workspace. So let this thing execute for some time, and then we'll have a list of tags in front of us that are actually there. Now, all these tags are created on my Google Tag Manager, but I am able to view them here. And now, tag is the one of those things that is very easy to create in Google Tag Manager, and we are able to successfully view the same tags by using this GTM API. So this was all about viewing things. Now, how about actually creating some things in here? So we have an account. So I'll just list that again so that I'm able to take its functionality beyond. I just need the exact path of the account. So I'll execute this again. Select the email. Yeah, so I am using DaVinci module account and I'll be copying this. Now, what we will be doing is we will be creating a workspace in this particular account. So if we head on to the workspace section and click on create. So for creating this thing, we can use the API Explorer. Now, definitely you'll have to pass on the accounts account path here, and after that says parent. Oh yeah, actually before creating a workspace, we'll have to create a container here. So first go on to containers, and then in that we'll have to create first. So in that I will be creating a container here, and I'm pasting the account here. And in the name of the container, you'll have to pass the name that you want to specify to this container. So I am saying, I'll say 2110 demo. This is the name of the container. You can use your own. And in this, I'll be adding an item called web. Since I'm creating this container for web, so I have selected. Now the work here is done. You'll just simply execute it, and after executing this, you'll just come to know that okay, the container will be created. I'll just show you in some time. Yeah, so now now the container is created here. We have also have the response for this purpose. And if I try to show you the same thing, you can see 2110 demo is just now created, and the container ID is also visible to us. The container type is web because we passed web there. So now we know that the container is successfully created. Now do not forget to copy the container ID to proceed. So now I have created a container, and inside the container I am going to create a workspace there. So it's that simple. You select workspace heading, and inside that you click on create. And inside the parameter, you will pass the path for the container. And after that, there are certain parameters that you want to pass. Now, number one is the name of the workspace that you want to do. So I'm saying 2110 workspace. Now you can give any other name that you want here. That doesn't have to actually do anything with the naming conventions. So I'm just giving on this name, and after that I'll hit execute again. So after this execution, what will be the expected output is workspace should be created in that particular account. So once it will be executed successfully, there will be a workspace that is created. Now, if I go to the Google Tag Manager and if I open my 2110 demo container account, you'll see that there is one default workspace here and there is one 2110 workspace. So I'll just select this and I will be using these. And now you can see that I am successfully created a workspace here. So now I'll just copy this path of the workspace as well so that I can use it further. Now, let's do some more functionality here. What I want to do here is I want to create a tag as well here. In that particular workspace 2110 demo, I want to create a tag. So in the tag heading, I'll just create here. I'll just click on the create button here. And after that, since we have already copied the workspace path, I'll be just pasting that. And in the request body, there are certain parameters that you want to pass on. So I'll say the name of the tag is demo tag 2110 is the date, and type you'll have to give it HTML, and after that you'll have to add on certain parameters. So add a parameter array here, and inside the parameter array you'll be adding type here. Once you'll click on add item, you'll automatically be appended with the type, and here you will be seeing that my type is template because I'm creating a tag that is already there and I'm trying to use a template here. And for the key value, I will be saying HTML, and for the value, I will be saying that, okay, this is something. Any random value you can pass here. And after that, I'll execute this thing. And on the execution, the expected output is in the selected workspace, a tag named demo tag 2110 should be created. So we'll just see if it is actually the case. Okay, so we have got the, message for this creation. And if I now go on to the tags here, and if I try to show you, you'll see that demo tag 2110 is created here a few seconds ago. And this is a custom HTML tag, and the value is also coming here. So we have successfully created a tag. We have successfully listed a tag. Also, there are other options here to update a certain tag. If there is any need to update a tag, then you'll have to pass on the parameter, and also the request body should be modified. And you can just go through this entire website. This website is very useful, and there are a lot of options, and there are a lot of methods as well that you can explore for automating very complex tasks, as previously mentioned, like creating 1,000 containers in a single go. So that will be a very problematic situation when it comes to using the GTM UI only, and this problem can really be simplified when we use GTM API. So that's all for this video, and stay tuned for the new ones.